For 30 years, the old man planted trees in a valley everyone called dead. His sons left. His neighbors laughed. The village council tried to have him removed. And when he died, they buried him quietly at the edge of the land he had wasted his life on. 3 years later, the worst drought in a century hit the region, and the only thing standing between 5 villages and total ruin was a forest that wasn't supposed to be there. This is the story of the gardener's map. His name was Elias. He was not a remarkable man by any visible measure. He had no formal education beyond what a village school could offer, no wealth, no title. He was a gardener by trade, not the kind who tends flower beds for the wealthy, but the kind who works soil that doesn't want to be worked, in land that pushes back. He came to the valley when he was 32, the same year his wife passed. People assumed the grief had broken his judgment. The valley he chose was a stretch of cracked, dry earth that sat between 2 hills, largely ignored because it produced nothing. The soil was poor. The winds were harsh. There was a small stream that ran through it in spring, but disappeared by July. He built a 1-room stone house at the edge of it and started digging. In his youth, before the grief, before the valley, Elias had spent 6 years working for a man who studied land. Not farming, the science of it. Soil composition, water tables, the way tree roots reshape drainage over decades. He had read everything the man had written, and he had remembered it. He understood something about the valley that nobody else had bothered to understand. The dry soil wasn't the problem. The lack of shade was. Without trees, the sun baked the moisture out before it could sink deep. Without roots, the spring stream had nothing to anchor it. But with enough of the right trees, planted in the right pattern over enough years, the valley could hold water. It would take 30 years, he calculated. So he started. The first trees he planted were small, unremarkable, species nobody recognized, ordered from catalogs nobody had seen. He planted them in rows that made no obvious sense. Not straight lines, not neat grids, curved arrangements that followed some logic only he could see. He kept a notebook, a worn, water-stained thing he carried everywhere, and filled it with diagrams, dates, measurements of wind and rainfall and soil temperature. Year after year, season after season, in heat and in cold, with hands that grew more crooked with age, but never stopped moving. The notebook filled up. He started a second one, then a third. His sons thought he had lost his mind. They were practical men. The eldest ran a small trade business. The younger worked a farm 2 villages over. They visited twice a year, and each time left more convinced their father was chasing something that would never arrive. "You'll be dead before those trees give shade," his eldest said once. Elias looked at him calmly. "Yes," he said. "That's rather the point." The village had a way of dealing with people like Elias. They didn't argue with him. They simply stopped including him. Invitations dried up. Conversations ended when he approached. It is a particular kind of cruelty, not loud enough to confront, just steady enough to hurt. Elias noticed. He said nothing. He went back to the valley and planted another row. He never told anyone what the notebooks contained. When asked, he said simply, "Records." Elias died in the 31st year, in early spring, in his stone house at the edge of the valley. He was 63. He died quietly, without drama, in his sleep. His sons came and buried him at the edge of the tree line, not out of sentiment, but because that was what his handwritten instructions said to do. He had left a single page of instructions and 3 notebooks. The instructions were practical: where to find his savings, who held the deed to the land, which neighbor he had borrowed a tool from and never returned. At the bottom of the page, 1 line: "The notebooks go to whoever wants to understand." Neither son took them. They left them on the shelf in the stone house, locked it, and went back to their lives. The valley sat as it always had, quietly, without explanation. 3 years after Elias died, the rains stopped. Not unusual at first. Dry seasons came and went. But this one stretched. Then it kept stretching. Wells ran low. The river that fed the region dropped to a trickle by midsummer. Crops failed. Villages that had never spoken to each other began meeting out of shared desperation. Someone, during one of these meetings, mentioned the valley. There was a forest there now, or something close to one. 30 years of planting had produced a dense, layered canopy that nobody had paid much attention to because it had grown so gradually. But in the drought, it was impossible to ignore. The trees were green, deeply, impossibly green. The stream, the one that vanished every July, was still running. The roots of 30 years of trees had done exactly what Elias had calculated they would do. Slowed the water, spread it, pushed it deep into the soil where it could not evaporate. The valley had become, quietly and without announcement, a reservoir. 5 villages drew water from it that year, and the year after, someone thought to look at the notebooks. A young woman from the village, a teacher, broke the lock on the stone house and found them on the shelf where the sons had left them. She sat down and started reading. What she found was not the journal of a grieving man or a fool. It was a precise, methodical record of 30 years of environmental observation. Rainfall measurements, soil tests, tree growth rates, wind pattern notes, diagrams of root systems and water table projections. Hand-drawn, meticulous, updated every season. And at the front of the first notebook, a single paragraph in Elias's careful handwriting. This valley can hold water. The trees must be planted in the pattern described on pages 4 through 7. It will take approximately 30 years. I will not live to see it finished, but I will plant enough that whoever comes after will understand. The drought that comes in the 4th decade, and it will come, the patterns are clear, will test every village in this region. This is my answer to a question no one has thought to ask yet. Elias's sons were still alive when the notebooks came out. The eldest read them in 2 days. He didn't speak about it for a week. When he finally did, he said only this: he wasn't broken. He was the only one who was thinking. The valley bears a name now. The villages maintain it collectively, replanting each season according to the diagrams in Notebook 1. The stone house has been kept as it was. At the edge of the tree line, someone placed a simple stone, no grand inscription, just his name, his years, and 4 words. He planted for others. Here is what Elias understood that the people around him never did. Patience is not waiting. Patience is working on something whose reward belongs to a time you will not live to see, and doing it anyway, with full knowledge, in full commitment, without needing the credit. Most people plant trees they expect to sit under. A rare few plant forests for strangers they'll never meet, in answer to questions no one around them has thought to ask yet. The world runs on both kinds of people, but it is saved again and again by the second kind. If this story stayed with you, share it with someone who plants quietly. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. There's a new one every week.